Okay, so how do we, if we are suffering from some form of compassion fatigue, how do we overcome that? In the physical realm, get medical treatment if you have physical symptoms, instead of ignoring them or saying, well, my symptoms aren't as bad as some other person, so I don't really need to go to the doctor, or I don't need to, I'm so busy doing my work or my caregiving, then I don't even have time to think about taking my medication. Or I get so focused on caring for this person that, oh, I didn't remember I was supposed to take these meds or put my feet up or whatever the doctor says. Eating meals at a relaxed pace. I think one of the things that we do in this culture that is so bad for us is we eat while we drive, we eat standing up, we eat at our desk, and I don't know where else, in bed. I don't know where else people eat, but from what I've read about nutrition, eating standing up is really bad for you. And I say this because I have been a terrible offender of it, sort of like grazing while folding laundry, and the whole kind of multitasking approach. And actually we digest our food better if we sit down and eat it. We also don't eat as much of it if we sit down and eat it rather than sort of pass by it as we're doing other things. Really eating at a relaxed pace, having some kind of exercise plan. This doesn't necessarily mean you have to go to a gym and lift weights and act like a bodybuilder. It might mean that you just need to walk around the block once a day. And it's amazing that research about depression shows that exercise is one of the best antidotes for depression. Is exercise, because it creates a chemical reaction in the brain that brings much more pleasure, and it makes a chemical reaction that's similar to taking antidepressants. And it doesn't take a whole lot of exercise. Another big one is don't self-medicate with alcohol or drugs, a big tendency. I don't know how it is for you, but it seems like maybe being down here is a perpetual party for some people. I mean, it seems like living in a place that's a destination, and everybody I've ever heard of, especially when you live in Colorado, people want to go scuba diving, so they want to come to the Keys and see into the earth, and the way they talk about it is, well, this is just going to be a week-long party. So I would imagine that there's a fair amount of issues around substance use and abuse in this part of the world. And so it's hard to not be caught up in the ambiance of a perpetual party. And so really caring about that and managing it and being in supportive groups where there's sensitivity to not overindulging in alcohol or being involved in drugs.
Here in Marathon, they don't even have a open container. You can walk around drinking a beer or whatever.
As I was saying, I was at an event in New Orleans last weekend, and it's the same way. It was kind of like, wow, what would it be like to live in the French Quarter of New Orleans? And then I thought, okay, so I'm going from New Orleans to the Keys, like with 3 days of some kind of boringness between the two exciting places. But yeah, when you have a context that supports a lot of substance use, it's very important to put boundaries around that, because it will create, as you know, even more issues to try to manage. Take time off. It's on there twice, not as a typo, but intentionally, because it's the best thing that we can do to refuel for doing the kind of work that we do. Practice breathing exercises. Is there anybody in here, I know anybody here that practices yoga?
Chair yoga.
Oh, chair yoga, that's fine. Any kind of yoga is good.
There's yoga, and I'm starting yoga.
You're starting yoga, okay. this is a really great thing to do, and it's not hard. But breathing exercises, what we know is that when people feel stressed, they hold their breath. Okay? And pay attention to that. If you can ever feel that when you're under a lot of stress, and sometimes even just in normal life, you find yourself holding your breath. And what that does is it increases the stress. So breathing is part of just daily living, and I like the connection because the Greek word for breath, wind, fire, and spirit is pneuma in the Greek. So the breath that we breathe in and out is the regulation of spirit coming into our life and providing us energy to do this work. And I like the fact that in terms of the words that they're connected. And so when we don't breathe, we don't allow spirit and energy to fill us up and give us the strength to carry on. So I would challenge you to just take some time to pay attention to your breathing. And it's very hard because we live in a society that doesn't want us to be still and quiet. Breathing deeply and creating some opportunity for relaxation, it doesn't take very long. Has anybody ever done breathing exercises? Okay, so some of you have done that. Keep doing it, because if you just allow yourself 10 minutes of quiet meditation, listening to music, or even 60 seconds of paying attention to your breath will bring you relaxation. We know this in our heads, we don't often practice it. And it doesn't cost money, you can do it anywhere.
In a car.
In a car, at the stoplight. That's what people say. And I forget it, but don't be texting while you're at the traffic light. Be breathing. It'd be so much more healthy and safer.